This video is proudly sponsored by Newtype. Tools, accessories, model kits, these guys have it. Hop over to newtypeshq.com and use promo code Otaku for 10% off on your next purchase. Hey, what's going on, dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to another exciting build from the good folks from Bandai, Japan. So why don't we get things started with the 1/100 scale Master Grade Wing Gundam Proto Zero. And without further ado, let's get to it. Welcome back, my dudes and dudettes, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It absolutely means a lot to me, especially through these troubling times. But please rest assured that more content is on the way and it's being produced as we speak. But enough about that, let's jump into the next awesome build of the Wing Gundam Zero. Now, I did build the Wing Gundam Zero roughly 5 years ago, and I was actually quite pleased with the results. But something told me when I got better at painting and panel lining and doing some kind of weathering, I knew I had to revisit this kit and give it a shot one more time. On the first side of the box art, you get a front and rear view of the mobile suit when it's fully assembled, as well as a glimpse of the neon bird mode in its awesome glory. On top of that, not only that this mobile suit can transform, but it's packed to the brim with weapon accessories down to 2 beam sabers, a dual buster rifle, an action base, and dry transfers, which is absolutely great for a great value for a master grade. And on the final side, you get a good understanding of what you can do for action poses for this mobile suit, as well as a brief rundown of the actual anime, as well as the Endless Waltz manga series that was produced back in the early 90s. So enough about that, what's inside the box? Now, from first glance, this might seem worrisome because there is not a lot of runners for this particular Gundam, which is totally fine. But you get happily greeted with the beautiful illustration of the Wing Gundam Proto Zero in its awesome glory, as well as a rundown on the design aspect for this Gundam. But no Gundam is not complete without an ace pilot, and that is piloted by none other than Hiroyugi. As for the next page, it gives you a brief rundown on how to apply dry transfers, which is pretty rare for this particular master grade kit because the only time you would see dry transfers is either on a ver.ka, perfect grade, or a third-party model kit. But this particular one is kind of nice addition to this particular mobile suit. As for the following page, it gives you a brief rundown on the runners and an action base to boost. But as for the whole entire kit, it's pretty straightforward until you get to the transforming feature of this mobile suit. And I absolutely love the fact that this kit actually gives you an action base that has an adapter in which you can plug it underneath, and then when you're done with that, you can put it into the full Gundam mode to show its awesomeness. And on the final last page, gives you a brief rundown on how to apply the waterslide decals and a color chart to add some custom flare painting to your viewing desire. Now, before I get into explaining the first runners-up, we need to talk about the 3 different variations of sticker decals you get for this particular mobile suit. The first one's the classic sticker decals, followed by the dry transfers, and last and finally are the sticker decals for the Gundam eyes and camera mounts. Now, if you don't want to put any LEDs into the Gundam head and stick with these sticker decals for the eyes, these will work totally fine, just rock with those. Followed up with the sticker decals, you get the classic transparent pieces for the Gundam eyes, 2 beam sabers, and the classic blue, red, and gold orange to make this Gundam look even much more stellar. And last and finally, you get a handful of gray pieces for the wings, inner frame, and an action base to boost, with a small assortment of red pieces for the shoulders and feet. Now on this next part, I end up just removing this part altogether for this particular build, but I just wanted to show you the process I went through on trying to install an LED light into the Gundam Beam Saber hilt, and it absolutely worked just fine, but the problem was my choice of LED light. Now green works really good with blue LED lights if it's in a smaller pieces, but something that's a little bit more elongated doesn't refract the light correctly. So this is a good life lesson to learn when you're installing LED lights into particular Gundam Beam Sabers. So when you end up doing this particular method, make sure it's a much more brighter light and give the nice Beam Saber a frost look by applying a flat coat spray over the surface. Alright, my dudes and dudettes, as this video is wrapping up, I want to share with you guys my thoughts and impressions about this mobile suit. So I'll talk about the goods, and then I'll go into the bads, and then roll into a little bit more of a thesis on what I went through building this particular mobile suit. So let's jump into it, shall we? So back in March of 2015, I really wanted to explore more Gundam model kits besides the ones that were like very popular. And unfortunately, I kind of caved in and wanted to build a Gundam Wing model kit. Now, full transparency, I'm still not a fan of Gundam Wing, but I do appreciate their boldness of trying something new for each different Gundam model kit. And for some reason, I didn't like the very first Wing Gundam. It just didn't really gravitate towards me. But something about the Wing Gundam Proto Zero really stood out from its first counterpart. And I wanted to try it out because it was something that was very different while at the same time still retained the original ideas and essence of the first Wing Gundam. And that's why I built it, because I absolutely love the design aesthetic of it. And once I was done building it, I was just super happy with the results, absolutely blown away on how great this kit was back then and even now. There is so much engineering that goes into building these small little kits, and I think Bandai deserves the full credit they deserve for building something like this. It was great. And when I built this kit again, I was able to try some new methods, some new techniques, some other different paint temperatures, some new paints. It's just all over again. It was just a new learning experience, and I just had so much fun building it. The downside with this particular build is even with all those electrical wires that I went into installing this Gundam tend to hinder one important aspect of this build, and that was transforming it into the neon bird mode. Because when I go into building these model kits, I always have like strict guidelines, whether it's on a budget on how many LED lights I want to put into it. While on top of that, if I do have a small budget, what can I add to the model kit that won't actually damage, break, or restrain certain features? Because the biggest gimmick for this mobile suit is the transforming bird mode. But at the end of the day, I was happy with the results. It came out the way I envisioned it. It came out the way how I wanted to do it, and I was very happy with it. Would I still want to have the bird mode? Sure, who wouldn't? But it didn't bother me at the very end. I still had a lot of fun building this kit. Once again, I still learned new things, how to install LED lights correctly, while at the same time working with such small confined areas to hide all the electrical wire. Now, this particular size of a Gundam, compared to the recent build I did of the new Gundam, it was very difficult trying to hide all that wires. Compared to the new Gundam, I got fortunate where there was a big enough cavity space in the hip area. Whereas this particular build, there was only so much room I can hide it in the main like abdomen, in the lower back. There's just enough cavity space there where you can hide the wires and make it look clean as possible. Now the big question is this mobile suit worth the purchase? Now let's take a look. You know, it comes with really good weapon accessories, which I really do dig. It comes with a really rock solid action base, way better than Gundam Thunderbolts in my opinion. The arm articulation and leg articulation is actually quite stiff enough to the point where you won't get any weight distribution problems by pulling off the classic dual rifle modes with the arms spread out like John Wick. It's a good kit, man. And it was absolutely worth building it again. Now, I don't know if that's going to encourage me to build any more Gundam Wing model kits, but who knows? But hands down, worth the purchase, and I would more than happy purchase another one down the road for like my nephews or niece or friend that wants to get into building Gundam for the very first time. It's a good kit, man. Definitely worth the purchase. And like that, my dudes and dudettes, we have reached the end of this video. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you guys like to see this and you want to see more, please like and subscribe and hit that bell. Jesus Christ, I absolutely said that. I'll see you dudes and dudettes on the next video. Later.